Snow drifted in the beam of the porch light as Jessica let herself into the split level on Ellenwood Street. It was the first Saturday of December 2003 in central Kansas, the kind of cold that stung when you breathed. She shook off her scarf, set her tote by the stairs, and called for 7-year-old Lily. From the family room came the muffled chatter of a VHS tape. Lily ran out in socks. Jessica went through her routine, shoes by the mat, bolt slid, until she noticed a sliver of black on the kitchen door jamb. The back door's latch plate was bent, the wood puckered where a screwdriver had slipped. Fear tasted metallic. The parents had left in a rush for a company dinner. Jessica dialed 911, kept her voice steady, and sat Lily at the kitchen table under bright light. A Great Bend patrol car pulled up within minutes, tires crunching on fresh snow. 2 officers stepped in, radios soft with static. They cleared the bedrooms, the basement with its Christmas totes, the utility room. Nothing. No broken glass, no tossed drawers. Just the bent latch and a single muddy print on the back step. One officer wrote a report and told Jessica to keep the doors locked and call again if anything else looked off. "The prowler probably moved on," he said. She nodded, embarrassed, and saw them out. The house exhaled, quiet settling into the walls, the cartoon's menu music plinking on repeat. She made cocoa and walked the rooms herself. In the primary bedroom, a drawer sat open 2 inches, a neat line of dust along the edge as if a finger had traced it. Her skin prickled. She closed it and checked the closet. "Stop," she told herself. Downstairs, the answering machine on the counter blinked with one new message, the kind with a tiny cassette you flipped. Jessica pressed play. A man's voice filled the kitchen, low and flat. "We're running late. Don't wait up," followed by the father's laugh, like someone copying it. Then the tone, then breathing too close to the mic. The timestamp read 6:41 p.m., 20 minutes after the parents left. They never called the landline, and the machine hadn't rung. She rewound and listened again. The same stiff laugh, the same scrape of fabric against plastic. The message ended with a click that sounded like a button pressed by a finger already in the house. Jessica put Lily to bed with a nightlight and left the door ajar. She turned up the TV to make the rooms feel less hollow. At 9:12, the house phone rang. The machine picked it up, the same voice. "We're running late. Don't wait up," like a loop fed back into itself. Underneath it, she heard the long, undecided tone of a phone off the hook. She looked at the wall jack. The cord hung loose. The machine wasn't connected to anything. She didn't touch it. She backed away and whisper-called Lily's name. A small rustle answered from the hallway that was not Lily. It came from the vent above the hall closet, a breath hitching, and then held. She dialed 911 again and kept her words clipped to stop the shake. The dispatcher told her to take the child, go to a neighbor, and wait. Jessica scooped Lily up, grabbed her keys, and moved for the front door. The deadbolt fought her, stiff in the cold. Behind her, the answering machine clicked on without a ring and started the line again. "We're running late! Don't wait up!" Now in a slow, warbled drag like a dying battery. The sound came not only from the kitchen but also from the living room. A black microcassette recorder lay half-tucked under the couch skirt, its red light blinking. Someone had been playing the same message from different machines to make it sound like calls. A shadow shifted in the hallway as she pulled the door open. Cold air knifed in. Jessica ran the last steps, Lily's arms tight around her neck, and kicked the neighbor's bell until the porch light came on. When officers returned, they entered with more care. Power was cut at the breaker to kill electronics. In the dark, they moved with flashlights. On the stair landing, scuff marks showed where someone had crouched, listening through the banister. In the hall closet, behind winter coats and a box of board games, the back panel had been unscrewed and pressed back into place. Beyond it was a gap between studs wide enough for a man to slide into. The plaster bore the shine of a shoulder rubbing the same spot. On the shelf above the coats, a grocery sack with half a sandwich, a bottled water, and AA batteries. On the floor, the parent's spare key on a ribbon. The ceiling vent cover was smeared with crescent prints of fingers pushing for air. They found him because of the snow. Another unit traced footsteps in the yard, a single path from the back alley to the house earlier in the evening, and no path leaving. The prints stopped at the rear deck where the latch plate showed tool marks. No exit to the fence. He had never left. He had recorded just enough of the father's voice from an old voicemail to mimic it badly. When they pulled the panel again, they found him curled in the framing, hoodie damp with sweat, the remote to the recorder in his hand. His name was Marcus Hale, 26, a one-time handyman who had installed the family's dryer vent in October and never returned his key. In his pocket, a bus schedule folded flat with the family's routines circled in blue pen. The arrest was quiet. Hale didn't fight. In the patrol car, he stared at his hands and asked if Lily had been scared. At booking, he told a detective he'd only meant to be inside to feel normal again. He had slept in the closet for 2 nights. He said the recording was to keep the babysitter calm so he could slip out when she dozed. Charges were filed: aggravated burglary, stalking, eavesdropping, criminal restraint, possession of a surreptitious recorder with intent to commit a crime. None of it changed how the house felt after. The family boxed photos with shaking hands and moved to a rental before Christmas. Jessica gave a statement and then could not sleep. The warbling tape lived in her teeth. She kept replaying ordinary choices, turning on a light, checking a drawer, putting cocoa on, and the fact that a stranger had been there, pressed against drywall, holding his breath. The family changed every lock. The bent latch plate was replaced with a reinforced strike and 3-inch screws. The snow melted. The muddy print on the step faded. The vent cover kept its finger marks until spring, when they painted over them. Months later, in court, a technician played the microcassette for the record. The jury heard the spliced line, 2 syllables of the father's laugh lifted from an old voicemail and looped with breath rising and falling against the mic. They heard the click of a button, then the soft scrape of fabric as the recorder was tucked under a couch. Jessica sat rigid in the gallery, hands knotted tight. Lily didn't attend. Hale watched the machine on the evidence cart as if he could will it to stop. The judge asked why he had stayed after police first came through. He said he had no place to go and that the closet felt like a room he used to live in. The court called it what the law could hold: a break-in, a hiding, an attempt to make a house speak with a voice that wasn't there. The sentence put years between that night and whatever came next. The tools were simple: a cheap recorder, a copied line, short screws, and soft wood. The terror was the message playing in a dark kitchen, telling a babysitter everything was fine, while a man in a wall held his breath and listened to her move. Jessica still measures nights by sounds: the fridge cycling on, the water heater ticking, the hush between. She checks vents without thinking. She sleeps with the hall light on for 10 minutes, then off, testing herself. When she thinks of that house, she remembers snow in the porch light and Lily's arms around her neck as they ran into the cold. Thank you for listening to The Lantern's Tale. Subscribe for more true stories, if you dare.